welcome. So I am here in my closet today, and as I was cleaning, I was just kind of thinking, like I always do, I'm always thinking, and I wanted to actually discuss something that has been on my mind lately. I also wanted to give you guys an update because I feel like I have been growing a lot lately, or just as I'm getting older, I'm naturally growing. But today I wanted to just discuss my plastic surgery and give you guys an update. I've also been getting some people asking me to update you guys on my plastic surgery stories and how it's been healing and how I feel about it now and things of that nature. So it's been a while since I've gotten my surgeries. I had breast augmentation, and that was maybe like 4 years ago. And then I also had rhinoplasty 2 years ago. I want to be completely honest in this video, and the reason I wanted to do this video is to give you guys my personal opinion on how I feel about plastic surgery as a 28-year-old as opposed to 20-some whatever whenever I got my surgeries 4 to 2 years ago. Do I regret it is the big question. I only regret my rhinoplasty. And I honestly could have kept all of this information to myself. I don't have to prove myself to anybody or explain myself to anybody really, but I think this is going to be helpful because I feel a different way now. So my breast augmentation, and if you guys haven't seen that video, I did a video on actually like 2 years ago, right after my rhinoplasty, and I was just talking to you guys how I felt at that point in my life. The most important thing for me, having my 2 YouTube channels, is to be as honest as possible, because at the end of the day, this is a relationship between you guys and myself, and it's more than just a viewership and someone who just makes content. It's a friendship, and that's definitely something that inspired me to do this video, because also on my book tour, I really felt more like a sense of connection between the people who actually came to my book tour, because I know they actually cared about me. So I just feel like I owe it to you guys to be completely open and honest about such a big decision that I made. So let's start. Like I said, I do regret my rhinoplasty, and the reason I regret it is because I know that even though I said that I didn't do it for insecurity purposes, it was actually because I was insecure about myself. I was not happy with myself. I didn't love myself. And quite honestly, I don't love myself 100% today. I can say that I love myself about 90%. And I know there's still that 10% because I still find myself doubting everything in my life and what I've accomplished. I know it's really hard for me to give myself credit for anything. And I still have insecurities. I don't know if those insecurities are going to be there for the rest of my life. I don't know if they disappear as I get older, but I still have insecurities. And the reason this story about me regretting plastic surgery came up is because I've been reflecting a lot more in the choices that I've made and the decisions that I've made throughout my life. And I know that I do have some sort of influence and a platform here on YouTube to speak about the things that truly matter to me. And the last thing that I want is a girl to get surgery done because she doesn't love herself. Because I did it. When it came to my rhinoplasty, I fixed my nose. I messed up my nose. Trying to fix something that was not broken, something that God made me. God gave me the nose that I had before, and now I can't go back and ever have that nose that is the same nose that my mom has. And God made me that way. And I decided to change it because I found myself comparing myself to other people. And I know that I didn't love myself because every time I saw myself in the mirror, I was always finding something negative to say about myself. I was always just being really hard. And, yeah. So I got my nose done. I thought I was going to feel better about myself. It didn't really help my self-esteem at all, actually, because even like the video that I made about explaining my plastic surgeries 2 years ago, even in that video I told you guys that when you go into plastic surgery, you don't go out a different person. You know what I mean? Because the surgery just takes a few hours and you're still the same person inside. So it doesn't change you inside. It doesn't make you feel any better or more beautiful. What you need to do is work on yourself, and you have to learn how to love who you are. And it's a process. You know, we're learning and we're growing and maturing and going through life experiences, and that's a process that takes you to the place where you can actually look at the person in the mirror and actually love who you're looking at. So yeah, guys, I have to be completely honest with you guys, and I have to say this, and I have to own up to my mistake, because I don't want this to happen to someone else. Because, guys, like, now my nose, like, first of all, nobody ever said anything about my nose. Nobody ever commented. I never had an issue with my nose. And when I went into the surgery for my rhinoplasty, I was so anxious. I was so scared. It was different. Like, for my breast implants, I got breast implants because after I had my son, I was like an A or a B cut before, and then I was completely nothing. So I wanted, you know, to have beautiful boobs, and I wanted bigger boobs. So I did, you know, I got my breasts done, and that was fine. It didn't change anything. I was happy. I love them. I really, really do love them. But my nose is a different story. So when I went into surgery, I remember just feeling very anxious and just like, anxious is the word. I just felt anxious. I was lying there. I couldn't wait till they put me to sleep. And then I came out, and then I looked in the mirror after I came out of surgery, actually like a few hours after, and my face just got, like, it swelled up. And it was purple. Like, it was just horrible what I had done to my face. And I keep trying to tell myself that, you know, my nose is going to get better or whatever. Like, thank God that it's not like a bad nose job. But now sometimes it's actually crooked. And also, this nostril is always leaking. I don't know. I think it's because something happened, and that's the consequence that I have to pay. And I always look at my nose now. Every time I'm always looking at my nose, I'm like, ugh. And I'm never going back into plastic surgery for my face ever. I'm never changing my face at all. I'm not doing anything to it. I'm never going to touch it, because just the thought of having a doctor go in there and break your bones, like change your face, ugh, scares me now. So yeah, guys, I hope this never happens to you guys, and don't do anything just to change the way that you look because you think it's going to make you feel better, because it's not going to make you feel better. What's going to make you feel better about yourself is actually starting to love the person that you are, and it takes time. I know that you might even come to a place in your life where you feel like you're never going to be confident. You're never going to have high self-esteem. I remember having very low self-esteem and confidence, and just wishing there was like a pill I could take so I could just be confident. And I would read all these books and try to figure out ways to raise my self-esteem. And the only thing that helped me, guys, is when I stopped comparing myself to others and realizing that there is only one me, and I have, like, my path is a path that nobody else has, and I cannot have anybody else's path, you know. So you have to focus on yourself. Give yourself credit for the things that you do, because you are amazing, and we all do have it inside of us to do the things that we want to do and be great human beings. And that's something that I've discovered. So I just wanted to share that that little story and how I feel about my plastic surgery decision. And I also wanted to tell you guys about, I found myself, actually, I said this today, which is what inspired me. I was like, do I love myself 100%? I am definitely a lot more confident at 28 than I was a year ago, or even a half a year ago. And people always say that women always say that when you turn 30, that's when the magic happens. You know, that's when you really find yourself and you know who you are. And for me, one of the people that I really look up to, guys, is Wendy Williams. And I know a lot of people, like some people always tell me, like, why do you look up to her? She trash talks all the celebrities and she's all about gossip or whatever. But I don't look at that side of her. Like, that is her job. That's how she makes a living. But what I love and admire from Wendy is that she is a very strong woman and says what she means, doesn't apologize for it, and she's confident in her own skin. She's 51. And I'm like, I cannot wait till I get to 51, to that point in my life where I just really don't care what people say about me, because I care 10% still. I still care. I'm not at that 100% level. And as I am getting older, and just as days are passing by, I feel like it's starting to happen a lot sooner. But I am really starting to really love who I am. And here's another story about my moles. Okay, so I've never hated my moles either, guys. I've never had a problem with them. I did at one point, actually. Right around the same time I got my rhinoplasty done. I was like, I photoshopped my face on the computer and I took away every single blemish and mole that I had, and my face looked flawless. And I was like, wow, it actually looks really nice. So I made an appointment with a dermatologist. My husband and I went in. My husband, he never he was against the rhinoplasty as well, and against me getting my moles removed. So I made an appointment with a dermatologist to get rid of my moles. And he was like, you know, he was going to do it, whatever. I never made the appointment because it wasn't like a priority, but I was taking the steps forward to get my 3 big major moles removed out of my face. Thank God that never happened either, because let me tell you guys how I feel about them now. Like I said, I've never hated them, but I actually went to a point, like I did get to a point in my life where I was trying to change things physically about myself to look a certain way and to fit into a certain image. So the pressure of trying to be perfect or trying to be someone who you're not, it is so strong and present. I can't imagine, like I remember being a little awkward girl. Like when I went through puberty, guys, it was horrible for me. It was really, really horrible. Like my self-esteem took the deepest plunge ever. And it wasn't up until now that I started to feel better about myself. But my grandma has this mole and this one here. The only thing is that hers popped out a lot bigger. Like they really popped out. And I remember being a little girl and always like telling everybody, yep, me and my grandma, you know, we have the moles, like, yeah, you guys don't. And it was just like one of the things that I was so proud of, because me and my grandma, my mom's mom, we had the same moles, and I loved it that me and her just, like, what are the odds that we had the same moles in the exact same place? So I was so proud as a little girl about my moles. And then I started putting on makeup, whatever, as I got older, and I didn't cover them up, but I never took my makeup off. Like, I just never thought about removing makeup from my moles. So, like I told you guys in my last makeup tutorial, the drugstore makeup tutorial, I told you guys that one of my friends, and a lot of you guys on Instagram and on YouTube, were always telling me to just take a little bit of makeup remover and just make them more visible. So finally I did it. And I loved it. I am so happy, and I embrace them. I'm like, I make sure, like, even if I put powder, I'm like always going back in with a Q-tip and taking off any makeup that goes onto my moles. And I even had girls tell me on Instagram that they wish, and on Twitter, that they wish they had my moles. I was like, what? That's so crazy. Now I'm so glad and so grateful that I didn't take away something that makes me who I am. You know what I mean? Because nobody else has my moles, and it's just, that just shows you how like we're all unique, and we have to embrace what makes us really unique. And to me, it's definitely the moles, my height, whatever. We're all different. My grandma actually ended up removing her moles because hers actually grew out, like I said. But to me, this is always going to be something that's on my face, and I'm always going to remember my grandma. So I'm so happy that I didn't change anything. And that's kind of something else that triggered, and that's what triggered me sharing the story about how I regret getting rhinoplasty, because I can't go back and change it. Like, I will never have my original nose that I never had an issue with, and now this one, I'm like so self-conscious about this one that was supposed to be better. You know what I mean? It's so, I don't know, I guess things that we go through as women, insecurities. Another little story is that this past Monday, I actually went to an event for Latina Magazine, and I was feeling really confident about myself, and just, you know, I did my own hair and makeup, I got my dress, it was super cute, like I felt really good about myself that whole day, and I just had really high, I felt like my self-esteem was really great that day. So I get to the event, I already know that I was going to walk the red carpet, even though, Tar and Layla, who are my managers, they didn't tell me. I already knew that they were going to, you know, kind of push me to go do something that I'm normally not comfortable with. And if you guys have been following my story or just been with me for a while, you know that I've always had this biggest fear of public speaking, being in front of people, getting my pictures taken. I mean, even as a little girl, like, I was so awkward with my pictures. Like, whenever someone was going to take a picture, I was literally like, like, I'll go like this, like, hey. So freaking awkward. Like, my head always went back. I had this biggest cheeser. I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. But I've been learning and growing. And so anyways, so backtracking, when I first started YouTube, and I got a publicist for the first time like almost 5 years ago, and I was such a completely different person back then. I was like extremely like not sure of who I was yet. So here I am doing YouTube videos for fun, it's a hobby, and then I somehow end up getting a publicist, and yet I still feel like, why do I need a publicist? I just do YouTube videos. I'm not like a celebrity, I'm not an artist, I'm not a singer, I'm not a I don't need a publicist. But somehow I ended up getting a publicist, and I got kind of projected into, because they represented a lot of different clients and like Miss USA and things like that, and I got placed into a world that was so different to me. So I started going to Hollywood parties, Paris Hilton house, like private parties where Paris Hilton and I were taking pictures, and I was at her mom's house, or very exclusive events and walking red carpets that like Avril Lavigne was walking. I was getting invited to places like that, and I was kind of being pushed without any experience to walk red carpets, and I always felt like, well, why am I like, I always felt like I'm just, you know, I just do YouTube videos, like why do I have to walk a red carpet? Or the photographers are going to be like, who is this chick? We're not going to take pictures of her. It's going to be super awkward for me to be standing there and nobody knows who I am. So that brought so much fear to me, and I did it a few times regardless. And I remember just that my smile would be super shaky. I was so uncomfortable. I didn't know how to pose. I didn't know, like do you stop and take pictures and then you move along? Like, now I know, but at that point I had zero experience, and it's such a different lifestyle because I was going to a lot of events, and it just felt like this is not really my world. Like, I don't really belong here. It felt so weird. So I always dreaded going to those red carpets because they brought so much anxiety. You won't even believe how much anxiety. I hated going to events just for the simple fact that I know that they were going to push me to walk the red carpet, and I hated the attention like that. So that just goes to show you how, that just goes to show me how unsure and insecure I was about myself, because I had no idea who I was. I'm still trying to figure it out. I was like 23 or something, trying to figure out who I was and what I do, and you know what I mean? So anyways, fast tracking to the future now, and I did the book tour, which gave me so much confidence because I ended up doing like some television segments and a lot of interviews, and actually speaking to a lot of people in a room that were just sitting there. You know, they came to see me, and that really pushed me outside of my comfort zone, and I definitely grew so much, guys. I got so much more confidence because I started to experience the things that I was so afraid of, and I realized that we can do anything. Like, I was so afraid of public speaking. The only way that you're going to get better is by doing it more. So if you're afraid of something, you have to do it. If not, it's going to hold you back. It's going to close a lot of doors. I know that I turned down so many opportunities in the past because I was so afraid of being on camera, having a set of people. No one's going to judge you. Really, no one's really sitting there waiting for you to mess up. So go for it. Do it. If you're afraid, you have to do it. All right? That's something that says in my book. The bigger the fear, the bigger the opportunity. So you have to be scared. If you're not scared, then you're not growing and you're not going to evolve and be successful. So you have to be afraid and definitely face your fears. Do the things that scare you, because you're going to realize that you can actually do the things that scare you. You're going to have more confidence, and you're going to learn to love yourself more, because you start to realize that you don't really give yourself credit. So that's really something that helped me with my self-esteem and everything else, is that I'm doing the things that I was so afraid of doing, and I'm actually doing them very well. And I hope this doesn't sound cocky or like conceited or whatever, and I hope it doesn't come off like that, because that's something else that I kind of have an issue with. When we should be able to say as women how we should be the ones that think the highest of ourselves. And if people think that we're conceited, if people think that we are self-centered or whatever, I know there's a difference between them, a very fine difference. But say positive things about yourself and don't apologize for it, okay? That's my thing. So anyways, fast forward to Monday, and I was just so proud of myself because I didn't hold back and I didn't hesitate. I didn't fight it. And I just went with it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to walk this red carpet. I am going to be confident. I'm going to give it my best. And I did. And I am so proud of myself. So proud of myself for doing that, because I know how it used to be for me and how terrifying it used to be for me. I still got a little bit nervous. I still got like a little, still uncomfortable a little bit, but I just feel really great about not holding back and just going for it. You know, just have fun. So yeah, guys, I really wanted to share those things that have been on my mind. I love to share things that just spark growth inside of me with you guys. So hopefully it does inspire you in some sort of way. And of course, you guys know I love to hear your thoughts, your opinions on what you have to say about all of this. Or how do you feel about plastic surgery, you know, and the pressures of trying to look perfect or be the best, especially now with social media. With everything being so out there, it's so much more different than it was back in the day. I definitely feel like there is more pressure, even though we do have more women that speak to issues like this and embrace being who we are. Like Demi Lovato just did that amazing photo shoot for a Vanity Fair where she had no makeup on, no Photoshop, but she was completely naked. I think that's something really amazing, and that's a great message that she's sending out to the people that follow her, and it reaches a lot of people. At the same time, even though we have people speaking up about this, we still have social media, which is very prominent, and we look at these pictures of just perfect people, perfect, quote, perfect people, these images that are honestly just an instant, a moment, and we take that as the person having the most amazing and flawless life and look and everything, when that picture is carefully selected, carefully taken, and thought of. So yeah, I feel like it's such a weird balance because me growing up, I had the magazines and I didn't really see any Latinas on the cover of 17 magazine or anything like that. I didn't see any of that. Anybody really that looked like me. So I see that more on magazines, but at the same time, social media is here now. And I feel like we find ourselves comparing. I think we compare ourselves more now to everyday women that we see on Instagram than Beyonce or, celebrities is what I'm trying to say, not to single out Beyonce. But yeah, how do you guys feel about that? I really want to hear your personal thoughts. So thank you so much for watching today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys on my next one.